This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil Porto, aka Phil All Caps, aka That's the Spirit. If you're joining us from my whiskey account to lock in with Redwood Empire today. And man, this is hard. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was talking to my guy Apollo in the back. What y'all see is what you get from me today. Typically I try to have multiple lights and I try to do this whole like presentation of making sure that I'm delivering the best. But honestly, I straight up was at a point where I was like, yo, this team has not shown up for me and the fans in the whole 2026 calendar year so far. So why should I show up for them? So I'm showing up for our viewers. I'm showing up for our friends. I'm showing up for the Knicks community. But what you see is what you get. I'm just bare bones, one light, one microphone, one camera, and it is what it is. And we're just going to try to work through this episode. And like me and Apollo said, you know, at the end of the day, we're just going to be thankful that even though we haven't been able to watch good basketball, at least we can sip some good whiskey and hang out with some good people tonight. So we're looking forward to at least hanging out with y'all in the chat. If you guys can, please hit that retweet button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We've passed 9K. We're on that journey to 10, and I'd like to see it skyrocket past that as well. But shout out to all of y'all that are here on a Friday night. We know that it's not the most ideal day to be sitting watching Knicks content. But with the schedule that we've had and the late nights, this is all we could really do this week. So we'll keep it short and sweet for y'all. And without further ado, I'm going to bring up my guy, Mr. Apollo, who I know that, like, you know, it's hard to create content right now as a Knicks fan. So I appreciate him and I'm thankful for him. So we all need to give him a round of applause for going to work today and then showing up to talk about the crap storm that is the New York Knicks 2026 season so far. So Apollo Reed. No, time out. Not. Apollo Reed. Hold on. Apollo Reed. All right. Because I kind of have to be here. You make a choice, you know, to come and be part of this. You could just text me and be like, bro, can't do it tonight. And I have to deal with it. You know, I have to be like, all right, he doesn't want to talk about how bad we've been. I accept it. But me, I don't really have that luxury. So I appreciate you. How you doing, bro? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You made that rookie mistake.
I did. I definitely did. My bad.
Everybody welcome Apollo Reed to his first week of content.
Yeah, that's like the first time I've ever put myself on mute backstage. So like, I guess that's a sign to never do it again. So yes. We're good. But yeah, I'm good, man. You know, everything besides the Knicks has been good for me. So yeah, I just been thankful and I've taken in the new year. I'm going to be in the Garden on Wednesday next week.
Nice.
For my birthday. My birthday is Thursday, but for the Brooklyn Nets game, so they better get it together by then.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hope if we lose to the Nets,
man, let's
the
not
Knicks
even
hate you. The Knicks hate you.
I go back home. This is how you treat me. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Don't feel pressure to join next Thursday. If you got like a celebration that you doing with your family next Thursday and you need to skip out, let me know.
Yeah, man. I think actually I'm gonna be in New York the entire week. So I'll let you know.
Live it up. If I need to find somebody, I'll find somebody.
Yes,
so that you can enjoy yourself while you're out there. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Appreciate you all so much. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a good time today. We're going to have one of my guys from Knicks Twitter, Ev. He's going to come on in a little bit, and he's going to chop it up with us about the state of the New York Knicks. Shout out to my guy, State of the New York Knicks. He's been going crazy on Twitter. You know, State is at that point where he's like, I told you all to burn it down. You know, like, I was right. You know, like, all right, I'm not even going to fight you on this one right now, State, because I was an apologist for some of these players that now deserve to give us apologies for how they're playing.
Right.
So, without further ado, bro, let's jump right into it. The last 9 games, we have lost 7. And if you look at the list of teams that we've played, it's unacceptable to lose 7 of these games. And we don't need to, hash out all of them. But let's go through. So since the game on the 31st, where we lost to the Spurs, that was a close one. That was a nail biter, all right, whatever. Then we lost to the Hawks, which was the last game that you will ever see Trae Young on the sidelines for Atlanta. We lost to the Hawks. Then from there, we lost to the Philadelphia 76ers. Then we lost to the Pistons. And I believe they were out Duren, right? If I recall correctly, Duren was out. So we lost. Yep, we lost to them without them. Which makes me go, okay, if we're saying that that's the team we should be with in the East and they're missing those guys, that's not a good look, that we're losing to them already. Then we beat the Clippers. Okay. Then we go to Phoenix and we lose to the Suns. We beat the Trailblazers. We get what looked like a Rocky Balboa versus, some rookie boxer fight against one of the worst teams in the league, the Sacramento Kings. And that score is gracious. All right. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but that score makes the Knicks look like they actually played a lot better than they actually did in that game.
Right.
Because they were absolutely awful in that game. And then we go last night and we lost to the Golden State Warriors. So the 2 games you and I will talk about will be the Kings and the Warriors, since they're the most recent. People are probably sick and tired of hearing about the other ones. But what is your thoughts on these last 9 games? Like, we have won 2 games since starting the year, which is crazy because we did talk a few weeks back about how, I was talking about how we got to chill out on how great we think this team is, because we've had a pretty easy schedule to start the season. Like, we had an easier schedule. I know we kept on, seeing fans go, oh, OKC had an easy schedule. Well, we had an easier schedule to start the season as well. Like, they weren't the only ones. Now we're starting to play other teams and we're losing. And then we're playing teams that we should abolish and we're losing. So what are your thoughts on this abysmal streak?
It's like, it puts me in a mode where I'm questioning everything. Like, is it the coach? Is it the players? Is it like, is something going on in a locker room? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is, because at this point, we know how talented this team is. So what is going on? You know what I mean? And it's not like, I don't know. Like I said to you backstage, I'm like, sometimes I feel like these games are blending together, how bad we're playing right now. It's just, I can't even pick them apart. But just the last 9 games have been tough to watch. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm going into the game and I'm like, they're probably gonna lose this game. It's like, I actually said that last night. Going into the game, I'm like, we just lost to the Kings, and it's a back-to-back. I think we're losing tonight. Like, Brunson's not playing, Mitch isn't playing. Cool. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. And it's not like I don't have faith in these guys. It's not that. It's just the way that they've been playing recently just hasn't made me feel like they know how to handle tough situations right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna play this little video right here, because this is exactly how I feel over the last few weeks watching the New York Knicks play. And Knicks fans, we have an unhealthy loyalty, like, to this team. Like, even as bad as it's been, if, like, last night, the Golden State game, I had a friend that was in town from California, so we went out and we all had dinner. I didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning. What did I do? I sat down and I watched that pathetic showing of basketball by our New York Knicks last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then had to be up for the grind again this morning. And so, and that's not just because I'm a content creator. That's just because New York Knicks, we love pain. Like
Yeah.
New York Knicks fans love pain.
Yeah.
So this is how I feel. I'm gonna share this little video that I saw on Twitter because this is how I feel every time I've been watching the Knicks this season. All right. Oh, or this half of the season at start of the new year. Here we go.
When you finished your workout and thought there was
I don't care about the audio. All right, so this is how I'm feeling. Oh yeah, Knicks are killing it. Knicks are killing it. Oh yeah, we got this. Boom. And then the start of the year.
Bing. Oh, I knew it was coming.
Did not see that coming from our Knicks. Like
Oh my
I saw
God.
it coming in that video, but I did not see that coming from our New York Knicks
Ready.
to start off this year. And so the most recent losses kind of are the most concerning for me. And just like you said, so many people don't know where to cast or throw their blame or concern right now. Like everyone is kind of at a loss, and you see some of Nick's Twitter, some of Nick's Instagram saying this is all Mike Brown's fault. If Tibbs was here, like stop with the Tibbs stuff. No, like there's a reason Tibbs isn't here.
Mhm.
But you got people that want to blame Mike Brown. You got the people that want to blame, solely Cat. You want to people that blame McHale, blame Ode. And I'm at the point where I'm like, y'all all haven't showed up. Like you
Mhm.
haven't. Like
Yeah.
in one, there's typically one player that shows up in each one of these games. Like none
Mhm.
of them have showed up every single game in 2026. It's been, oh, at least we had this guy show up for this game or this
Right.
guy show up for this game. But for those that want to solely blame Mike Brown and say, well, we were told that we had a winning roster and that all we needed was a new coach. Well, it doesn't just work that way. Like,
Right. Mhm.
it's not like we hired him as soon as the season was over and then all of the moves that we made fit into the new system that him and Leon Rose wanted to implement.
Mhm.
Like they fired Tibbs, they signed Yabu, they brought in Clarkson, they got shit. Like all that stuff was happening before they even had a coach. So it
Right.
was like there was no direction of where they were going. So if you're going to bring a coach that's going to say this system sucks and it's flawed and we need to do it the opposite way of it's done, but none of the players on our roster actually know how to do that, like or are willing to make those changes, that's a huge concern. Like that's a big problem to just expect it to happen and then you're going to blame the coach when it doesn't happen because you and I talked about it when
Mhm.
we saw JB and Cat really adapting to the new system earlier, like after the first like 6 games were real shaky. We
Mhm.
saw them start adapting. What did we hear from the announcers? This New York Knicks team under Mike Brown now playing with pace, now playing
Mhm.
great defense, now moving the ball, assists are high, this, that, and whatever. We have not heard an announcer say any of those things about our players in
Hmm.
the last 9 games.
Yep.
So is that a Mike Brown thing? No, he tried to implement the system and
Yeah.
the players were adapting to it, but now they're reverting back to old ways. And
Mhm.
so that's an issue. So what are your thoughts on all the people that just want to like blame the coach and give all the players the scapegoats?
I mean, it's easy to blame the coach. It's just they're usually the first ones to get tossed out if something's not working. So it's easy for people to say the coach is the reason why this isn't working. Now. But like I said on Twitter like a couple of days ago, I'm like it's been 2 different coaches now with these guys, and we have the same kind of questions every now and then. So what what are the chances? You know what I mean? That it just might be the guys themselves that have to dig deeper and play more, play better. It's not just about being talented, you know what I mean? And it's about showing up and wanting it more. And every team we played in the last 9 games wanted it more, besides for the 2 games that we won, of course. But um they play like they wanted more, and that's just the odd thing to me is like what happened? Like these guys were really playing well. Even the NBA Cup, like it's just a different vibe, and I'm not gonna blame the cup and all of that. I don't think that it was too long ago at this point. It was a
Yeah.
month ago. So you had time to adjust to that. What happened? Something happened where things just haven't been the same. You hear in the way his tone in certain interviews and certain guys' body language towards certain guys on the team. It's just something's off, and
Yeah.
talent is not going to get you over that hump.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's like, I understand if you're like, man, that rotation cost us the game. Like he put in the
Mhm.
wrong guy and it cost us the game. It was a close game until he did that. Cool. Go at the coach all you want, on
Right.
something like that. Or the lack of DOR minutes after he had an outstanding game. You want to come
Mhm.
at the coach for that? Cool. So will I.
Yeah.
DOR should be in these games.
Yeah.
But to scapegoat lack of effort, lack of
Mhm.
actual like taking good shots,
Yep.
the fact that you want to complain as players more than you want to actually hustle, and then your excuses are the effort just wasn't there.
Mhm.
Is that an excuse? Like the effort wasn't there? I don't get
Right.
that. Like, how is that an excuse? Why wasn't the effort there? That's the question. And
Mhm.
so for me, it's just frustrating to see that because like we have seen what this team can do, but we're also seeing what they're refusing to do now.
Mhm.
And the problem is like if we had never seen that it could work, we could be like, oh, this is just Mike Brown's
The
system
Mike
does
Brown
not
thing,
work.
right? Exactly.
But we
Exactly.
went on those runs that we were all excited about,
Mhm.
where we were like, yo, Cat and JB can adapt to this. This is crazy. This is going to be good. Eastern Conference, here we come. Like finals, here we come. So them going back, that's not a Mike Brown thing. And
Right.
so there's a proverb, Proverbs 26:11, and it says, as a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool returns to its folly. Like what we're seeing is straight up foolishness.
Yep.
It's the Knicks going back to old ways that did not and would not work. And so let's get into this Kings game because this is where I have a hard time with the blame Mike Brown solely. Not
Mhm.
blame Mike Brown in conjunction with, but
Mhm.
solely blaming him is
Right.
what you see from games like this Kings game because this should have been a win. Like us versus the Kings first, no Sabonis. Okay, so you take Sabonis out of their lineup, which is who pretty much facilitates for them. Like he's the guy that they typically run their offense through. We lose 112 to 101, but we looked horrible all night. Not a single player of ours, bro, more than 20 points. Not a single player.
And
OG
JB wasn't there.
and JB was out. So it's not like, oh, well, JB didn't share the rock. That's
Mhm.
why Cat didn't shoot. All the people that want to crucify Jalen Brunson and say that the reason Cat doesn't get touches is because Brunson's a ball hog. Okay. Well, when Brunson's out after the first 4 minutes, who's ball hogging now? Like, why isn't he getting the rock? Why isn't he taking his shots up? Okay. Karl Anthony Towns didn't reach 20. OG didn't reach 20. McHale didn't reach 20. McBride, none of them. All those guys making bank. 51 million guy, 51 plus million in Towns, no, 19 points. And that's without your number one there. Okay. So listen to these stats and it kind of gives you an understanding of this game. So none of us had more than 20 points. There was a measly 23 assists, and we shot 19% from three. Okay. And then you look at them, they had 3 players that were all over 20 points. And their 4th highest scorer was Russell Westbrook, who had just as many points as Karl Anthony Towns. And they shot 37% from 3. And that might not sound like a great number, 37% from 3, but they made 10 3-pointers. And it might not sound a lot if you're talking about certain teams, but they have the fewest threes made by a team this season. Like they're one of the worst, when it comes to their shooting and the amount of threes that they get up as well. So that is the team that we lost against. And this right here, I'm going to go straight to you. What is up? Shout out to Carbon Intellect. Appreciate you so much. This is the video that is going to make me point out to the people that have an issue with Mike and saying he's the issue and not the players. And this will go to you right after this clip. All right. So here we go. We've all seen it. All right. Josh Hart passes the cat. Cat slips. All right. They're taking it down. He's walking. He's walking. They shoot. Fight for the rebound. Now he thinks he's going to get the ball. He starts going back. But so many people were like, he thought he was getting the rebound. That's why he didn't. No, he was not getting the rebound at that time. Not at all. Look at how much time goes by where he slowly gets up. And then I'm going to pause it on my favorite part. All right. So he's slow, running, walking. This right here. Ready? Here we go. Look at that. I'm going to stop half court after they took a shot, and I'm going to wipe down my shoes.
That was bad.
That's crazy to me.
Poor
You had
timing.
enough time to wipe off your shoes, and people are saying, oh, it's because he slipped. Like, that is crazy. That is just crazy to me. Shout out to my guy, Ev. He's supposed to be coming up. I don't know where he's at, but hopefully he comes up soon. He said, just reposted the stream. Appreciate you, my guy. See you in a little bit whenever you get up here. But that's crazy to me. So what is your thoughts on what we've seen when it comes to effort? Because Mike Brown can't force a player to play. Like, at the end of the day, you know, an orchestrator can direct you on what a violinist and what a pianist and what a saxophone player are supposed to be playing, but they can't force them to actually play the music. Like, that's on the freaking musicians. So what's your thoughts on this effort?
It's on the players, man. They gotta show that they actually want to be here and play together. And that game was a test for me to see, okay, well, when Jalen's not here, who steps up? You know, who puts the team on their back? Which one of those guys is the guy that we're gonna go to tonight and have a great game? You know what I mean? And fight back at a team who, all right, well, clearly we knew Precious was gonna come out with attitude. Who didn't know that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we knew that, you think they didn't know that?
Right.
So to me, I'm sitting here looking at the game, and it's like these guys are just outplaying you every single play. You guys are getting outplayed, and it's I'm watching it. Number one, you guys are jacking up. You with let's 41 threes. We took 41 threes and made 8.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like, talk about effort, man. Like, like, I don't know, man. It's, and you see plays like that with Cat, and you know, everybody's talked about it at this point, and I don't want to keep ragging on the guy, but you know, I don't see another kind of superstar. You know what I mean? I don't want to say any names because then people will be like, well, you want to trade him for? No, listen. I don't see another kind of superstar giving up. Like, and I mean someone who understands what it takes to win. Like, not just a star, not somebody who can put points on the board. Because I can see someone like James Harden doing that. You know what I mean? Because he's that kind of star. You know what I mean? Those kind of guys fit into that kind of category. And so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But you know, when I'm looking at Cat and I'm like, bro, you gotta fight. You gotta fight back because everybody has been on your back, bro. Like, you haven't been playing well. Your stats might look good every now and then, but it doesn't feel good watching you play, especially in the past 9 games. It's something's off. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It was a rough game. You see Precious come out there, go crazy. Of course, we know what DeRozan was gonna do. He was killing Josh Hart and whoever was guarding him, getting Mitch in foul trouble. I just It was embarrassing. Like you said, the score doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
If you were actually watching. So
it's crazy. And this is what I was saying about like construction of a roster without knowing the direction of where you're going. Like you get Karl Anthony Towns that has never been a player that actually is going to hustle for anybody. Let's be honest. Like he just hasn't, like he didn't do it with Tibbs in Minnesota. He didn't do it with Tibbs here. Like he's not a hustle player, never was. But then you let hustle players like Precious Achua walk. You let players that are actual like fighters. And yes, he did not work well here last season, but anyone who can say that he was properly used under the previous regime of the Knicks is crazy. Like, let's just be completely honest. Okay.
And I also think that was tied to the coach, however he felt like
exactly.
Yeah.
And so Precious Achua, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 6 offensive rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals against us. And he had just come out with an article where they were talking about like, where they were talking about fans and the coaches were talking about it was, the bench, we didn't really have a bench last year. And Precious had a direct quote which said, I don't think we had a bad bench, but you can't say something isn't working if you've never actually tried it. And he was talking about Tom Thibodeau actually trying things. And so we're going to bring up my guy, Ev, because I want to get his opinion on what we're seeing when it comes to the effort of these New York Knicks. Because the topic that you brought up, which is one that I really, really want to talk about, is what happens when Jalen Brunson's not here. And so I'm going to bring him up. I'm going to intro him, and then I'm going to ask him a question based off of a tweet that I saw. But I like this guy because he can be out incognito. He can hide in the trenches on Knicks Twitter, but when he comes out, he comes out swinging. Like he knows his ball. He talks, a good game, knows what he's talking about. But he's also not involved in all that crazy Twitter drama. Like sometimes I'm just like, yo, I'm not 15. I can't be on Twitter right now. And so I love that he could give takes without all that drama. So without further ado, this is my guy, Evan. Ev, do work. What up? What up? What up? How you doing, bro? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Can you hear him?
He's not muted, but his mic, I don't think his mic, I can't hear him.
Oh, yeah, your mic's not connected. Let's see. Edit mine.
He was muted at first. He might have to.
Nah, I hear nothing. Are you on a phone or are you on a computer? Computer? All right, so at the bottom, you'll see the little picture of a mic to the left with an arrow up. So click that and it'll show you the different mics that you can use, and make sure it's the one that you have on you right now. I don't hear nothing. You hear anything, Apollo?
No, I don't hear. Try leaving and coming back. Maybe like restart the whole.
Try to exit out.
Mm-hmm.
Try to exit out and then come back in, because we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think that's what had I think happened to Frank a couple shows ago.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go through some of the comments right here. Carbon Intellect said we got a bigger number 30. I said that on Twitter yesterday because Knicks fans they got like it's so funny, especially the ones that were like diehard Randall fans. They have revisionist history. That's one of my like favorite podcasts back in the day. What's his name? Malcolm Brogwell. Yeah, he had a amazing podcast called Revisionist History, and it's like as time passes by, people will tell a story so differently than it actually was. Now we can hear you. All right.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Chilling,
bro.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what was up my headphones, but it was all set up right, and then I left and I came back and we're good to go.
No, you good, man. So I was just talking about, like Knicks fans can based off of their favorite player or whatever their loyalty was. They can have like revisionist history, you know, because I see people like, oh man, if we still had Randall, you know, look at how Cat conducts himself. And I'm like, yo, do you not remember all the like episodes that we did talking about Randall and his posture and booing the team and everything like that? Like, that's crazy. And then shout out right here. We got Cali M727. How about Bridges free throws? He plays soft. He does. You know, a lot of our guys are playing soft right now. I actually was on a tweet yesterday, and you know, I was like, "Yo, this is the Charmin Knicks. You know, this is like the toilet paper. You know, breaks so easy. Don't wipe too much; it'll split." Kind of Knicks. Kareem Grant, shout out to you in the building. Shout out to Banga right here. Cat needs to be better than what he is doing. We traded for him to put us over the top. I see a trade coming if that doesn't get better soon. I agree. Is it me, or has Cat been worse since he proposed? I don't know, man. I don't know about the proposal.
I mean,
but
I don't
he
know.
ain't focused.
Once you start to like transition into becoming a married man, the unhappiness just like comes in, you know. And he's just been wearing it on his face this whole time since.
Well, I speak different because I love being married, but I'm also the actual man in the relationship. I'm not so sure that's the case with Cat. All right. So, you know, it's about, you know, it's about whatever.
Shots fired. Shots
You know,
fired.
but anyway, all right. So, Ev, I want to get your thoughts on something. All right, because Apollo was talking about how, you know, the big question is, what are we without Jalen Brunson? Like, who steps up when Jalen Brunson's gone? And I saw a tweet, and I tried to find it to give credit to it, but I couldn't find it. But it was like, the Knicks without Jalen Brunson look like a play-in team at best. And I started to think about that, and I was like, yo, that's exactly what we look like. Because even with Jalen, we've been struggling. And now without him, it doesn't look like anybody has shown up to play these last two games. And so I started thinking about the other players and the other teams, and the fact that we just got passed up by the Boston Celtics, who have played all season without their number one in Jason Tatum, says they're built differently. They're run differently. Like that, without their number one, they're still contenders. You look at Cleveland. Cleveland has had stints where Donovan's been out. There's stints with Garland's been out. Mobley's been out. Yet they still can hold their own when their main guy is out. Cade missed 5 games. They're still number one in the East. So where do we actually stack up with all these teams? Like when it comes to who we have that's going to be a dog when Jalen Brunson is out. So I'll throw it to you, Ev. Shout out to my guy, Ron, in the building. Appreciate you coming out, bro. I know you're busy. I know that it takes a lot for you to come support. So thank you so much. We're going to talk about this topic, and then we're going to transition into not only some whiskey talk, but whiskey talk with enemy territory. This guy that's coming up, great master distiller, but the only curse about this man is that he's a Golden State Warrior fan. And after the abuse that we faced last night, it's going to be a little hard to talk to him. So I'm looking forward to the whiskey, not looking forward to celebrating the Warriors win. But Ev, what are your thoughts on us without JB? Who the heck is this Knicks team?
So I think, you know, in prior seasons, right, in like the Tibbs regime, like we would lean into variable ball. You know what I mean? Like we're going to shoot a ton of threes and see what happens. You know, the defense was solid enough in most cases. The hustle was solid enough in most cases where in the games that JB wasn't playing, we were able to kind of make up for that. And I think now just it's so weird because this team has been so much of a roller coaster already this season, you know, with the not so great initial start the first 5 games and then being able to find a rhythm, kind of dominate the month of December in the Eastern Conference, win the cup. They really found their stride offensively, though there was still a lot of like very glaring flaws, right?
Yeah.
And those flaws still, they present themselves even more when Brunson isn't available. Just because do all the planets fall when the sun's not out, you know? Like does everything just sink? And it seems as if there hasn't been a lot of freestyle coming from the other players when, you know, our offense kind of like stalls a bit, right? We come down the court, we do those exchanges at the top of the key, no matter who the point guard might be, or over onto the wing, and then from there we kind of see what opens up through our cuts. And outside of that, when that kind of gets taken down, you saw like even yesterday with the Warriors, they would just start to jump that initial pass that was going to Cat at the top of the key. It's like, okay, well, what's next? What's our freestyle, right? OG was able to do some of that yesterday with being physical and driving aggressively, stumbling to the rim, but aggressively stumbling to the rim enough times for us to get some points, right? So it's like, who's supposed to take that mantle? It's like there's just such a fall off in. I use the word leadership, even though it's tough to point that leadership right now when you're on a swoon, the way the team is, but the lack of leadership when, or at least on the court, offensively when JB's not on the court. It's like, all right, so who's supposed to take the ball next and really do this? And a lot of times you would want that from Cat. And and it's just sometimes it's so inconsistent. You just don't know what you get. Like, I sit around waiting for like the possible Cat barrage because they can happen. Like all of a sudden he hits 4 threes in a row and we're rolling, en route to like a 14, 15 point quarter for him that, swings the game. And a lot of those are able to happen without JB in the court, at least a lot of times last season. And in that stretch in December where the Knicks were able to win, they'd come out with that second unit in the second quarter that would have no JB, another point guard, whether that be Deuce or Kolek, and he'd be able to find his offensive stride that way. But you're not seeing that right now. And I don't know if it's a lot of it could be that he's in his own head. His coach has very publicly called him out now a few times, a few games in a row. And I imagine that's tough for him as a player when like everybody's not really playing too well. Some of the shooting woes cured themselves yesterday. Macau 9 for 11. You'd wish someone who's shooting that well would shoot more. OG was able to get to the basket more, but like it's a team effort. Outside of really Deuce, who's been lights out for a few weeks, it's been a team effort as who's not been that good, who's not contributing offensively. And really only one and a half guys, because Macau was called out for the Sacramento game a little bit with lacking the physicality, have been, taken to task publicly. And that's Cat. And very similar to Randall, he needs a face coach, bro. Like he comes in with the boo-boo sad face, and you see it initially, like in the first quarter, after a lot of his own self-inflicted wounds with the fouls. So it's like, how could he kind of bounce back for that? Like you almost sometimes need like that big offensive explosion game in a W to kind of like be like, all right, man, I'm Cat. I'm multiple time All NBA player. I was brought here to be, a step forward for this team in the big city. And it just seems like a lot is weighing on him, circumstantially throughout, the games that we've been losing.
Yeah. And one thing that's frustrating is like, people are like, oh, his ego or his, he's broken because he's been called out by the coach. Da, 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 da. I'm like, first of all, I played ball, not at a professional level. I wasn't getting paid $0. And I had to learn how to put my big boy pants on and listen when my coach told me that I was doing something wrong. When you're making $51 million for the season, and you're shattered because you faced your coach calling you out, you were okay in the earlier months where Mike Brown was giving you mad flowers. Like, you had no problem him publicly doing that. But when he's on the sidelines telling you, stop doing this, and you don't, and then he gets asked the question in a post game, like, really, that shatters you? Like, do you deserve $51 million if that can make you not be a professional basketball player when that happens? Like, no, you got to toughen up. Like, and that's where the whole he's soft thing comes in, because it's not just soft on the court. Like, he's soft in life right now, and mentally, he's just not got a dog mentality. And the frustrating thing is, like, yes, like you said, he can have those nights where he just will hit 4 threes back to back. But that only happens on nights where he's actually willing to take more than like 12 shots. You have games where he's taking 10 to 12 shots at $50+ million. Like, there was a game he had 6 points or something like that. Like, do not be my 1B and bring me 6 points in a freaking 30 2-minute game, 32 minutes that you played. Like, that's embarrassing. Kolek can do that for me in 11 minutes. Like, that's insane. And so my whole thing with Carl is like, I like Carl when Carl actually cares to be there. Like, he is not, even when you heard his interview of missing Minnesota and missing their fans and how, it's still hard for him not to like accept that he was traded from there. Like, he doesn't want to be here. Like, he does not want to be in New York, And so I think last year, the only difference was that because there was no actual like offensive identity outside of like ISO ball, it was if JB's not working, Cat's got the green light, as opposed to now it's like, okay, we need to get everybody involved. We need to move the ball. We need to move the ball. Well, he's not a move the ball kind of guy. He's I should be that guy, And so that's where it's hard is like, there is no leadership because everybody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be that guy. And when you actually see guys get their shots, like OG, the last few games, put it, like you said, maybe a little sloppy, but he's putting it out there. He's going for it. The problem is like in these last few games, you don't see that till end of third, start of the fourth. Like, why are we waiting to play basketball when we're already behind the 8 ball? Like that Golden State game last night, which we'll talk about with Jeff, like they were up in that first quarter. We were up. Like, there's no reason to take the foot off the gas when you're not the better team. And so, like, or when you are the better team, but you don't know how to keep a lead. So that's frustrating to me. Apollo, I'll throw it to you real quick. Then we're going to bring Jeff up.
I mean, I don't even know what are we just talking about everything in conjunction right now? Because
just wrapping up real quick, like this lack of identity without JB, and then we're gonna bring Jeff up and have a pour and talk about last night's game.
Yeah, man, it's I don't know they need a team meeting or something, maybe they've had one already, and that's probably what started it. I don't know. It's something is off with the chemistry, and it's embarrassing to see other teams come in there and make us look like we're not. And that was the other thing that I kept saying over the summer. Like, our window is wide open. These other teams are out, and Tyrese is not there, and Jason Tatum isn't there. But every other team in the East said the same exact thing going into their training camp. You know what I mean? So you still got to go out there and earn it. You're not just going to win it over talent because you're more talented than other teams. Because if we're being honest, there's a lot of talent on this team. If Cat is playing up to his potential, he is the best player on this team. If we're being honest, if he's playing up to the potential of his talent, he can be the best player on this team. But JB just does it because he just has it up here, and that's when you see a stark difference, because some guys might not have it physically compared to other guys, but some guys earn it, go out there and earn it more. And that's, sometimes you're starting to see that. So I don't know if it's without Jalen there, it's blatantly obvious that we don't have weapons that you can really depend on. Like you mentioned, OG stumbling to the basket, getting his buckets, which I appreciated because somebody had to look like they wanted it out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though it was in the last 6 minutes of the game. Cool. But that's what I'm questioning. Like, why did you take where is this OG all the time? Like, I'm sure Jalen Brunson would not mind if he wanted to play like this all the time. I'm really trying to understand why these guys don't take, like the Detroit game. You guys only taking 4 shots, both of you. I highly doubt Jalen said, "Yo, I don't want to pass the ball to you guys today, and I don't want you guys taking shots." I'm pretty sure that Jalen didn't say that to these guys. So when you go out there and you allow another team to keep you to 4 shots a game, that seems like more of a choice than anything to me. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And so last thing I'll say about that, I just saw Banga, I hate to say it, but Jimmy Butler looking like he was right about Cat. And I think that is in regards to the apparent like locker room quote where They were no longer seeing eye to eye. And he pretty much said Cat is as soft as baby manure. And, I think that, what we've seen, unfortunately, is a player that can, but a player that isn't. And that's the
Mhm.
frustrating part. Like, I only hold you to a standard that I know you can be in. Like, I'm never going to hold my 8-year-old. I was teaching him today. I was like, all right, Papa, like, I know you love basketball, but let's not just go out and have fun right now. Let's actually learn some of the like main fundamentals you need to learn for good shooting. Like, you can shoot, but let's properly shoot. Like, let's
Mhm.
get your form right and everything like that. And he started doing it, but I started him from the hoop where I knew he could actually do it. I
Mhm.
wasn't saying, hey, shoot from the 3-point line that I shoot from, and I'm going to raise the rim up to mine. Why?
Mhm.
Because I'm calling him to something that in no way, shape, or form can he do at 8 years old. Like, why would I do that? I'm
Right.
calling him to something to see him fail. That would be horrible. That would be, someone that's just a jerk trying to prove that this person can't do that. But when I'm saying, okay, this is the standard you've shown me you can do, this is all I want from you. Like, that's not uncalled for as Knicks fans to get frustrated when you're not even seeing half of that potential. All year, you've heard announcers say, Cat, all through his career, one of the best shooting big men in the year. I mean, in the league. We haven't seen that this year. Like, for half the year, he was scared to even put up a three. And now when he does put up a three, he's timid. And some of them are hitting the front of the rim. Some of them are airballing. Some of them are going in. We're not seeing that. So is it wrong for us to be frustrated that we want to see the best shooting big man? No, that's why he makes $50+ million a year, because we want to see that. Each of our guys, we want to see that. If Josh stops hustling, we're going to have a huge issue with Josh, because why? He's our hustle player. That's the criteria we hold for Josh, because that's why he was brought here. But without further ado, we're going to go into a little segment. This is the whiskey segment, but it's also one that we haven't done in a little while because we haven't had too many people that are anti-Knick fans. But this right here is a segment that we like to call enemy territory. All right. And this is where we bring somebody who is a fan of a different fan base. And no harm against them. They just don't know good basketball. And that's okay. We forgive Jeff for being a Golden State fan. We all have our imperfections. His whiskey completely makes up for it. But this is the enemy territory segment. And it's also the segment where we say, grab a drink. It doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink if you don't drink. But if you have something, grab it, pour it. We're going to go through some Redwood Empire. So I'm excited to bring up this guy because this brand is actually one that matters to me because when I started creating content, I was creating content and then brands started bringing me on to do small things here and there. They released an amazing bottle in 2022, which was their Haystack Needle annual release. That is a limited bottle, and it was finished in apple brandy casks. And it was during COVID, and they hired me to do photo and video for the release. And ever since that day, it's been nothing but a pleasure working with these guys. So when I talked to the guy who I work with, Elliot, about the show, he was like, Jeff is actually a big, Golden State Warrior fan. I was like, perfect. After we kick in the Golden State Warriors' teeth, we'll have him on the show. Well, little did I know that it would happen the other way around. But either way, this guy right here, Mr. Jeff Duckhorn of Redwood Empire. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. All right.
So how you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. Sorry about the game last night. I think that was a rarity in our world. So I think we need it more than you do, honestly.
Honestly, though, it's crazy because you guys say that, but you guys aren't playing bad compared to like a lot of other teams because the West is just that much more like of a dogfight this year.
It's
than
crazy, man. Yeah. What are we right at the halfway mark in the season? And it's kind of anybody's game. So
yeah,
if you looked at the Warriors a month ago, it was rough times.
Yeah.
But I mean, we needed it, especially with all the Kuminga bullshit swirling around. I mean, it was pretty needed for us. And we had some pretty good production out of some of our role players. I mean, Brandon, like his plus minus was
Yep.
insane. That guy was running around, getting hit in the face, hitting people in the face, just wild man on the court. So
Yeah.
he had a game. And of course our big guys had their game. And dude, your guy 20 rebounds. I don't know if we've ever had a guy get 20 rebounds on our team.
That was the highlight for him on that game. What
Yeah.
was his rebounding? But also, you got to look like I got to be realistic with the scenario. Okay, you guys are either running Draymond Green, who's not tall, so like you're a small lineup there,
right? He's a kid out there.
Yeah, or your other one is like 5 minutes from a retirement home. After this season, he's taking his check and he's gonna retire, on an island.
Or Quentin Post, who's kind of a baby deer out there, who's he's getting his legs, but it's gonna be some time.
Yeah, but to those guys, they still caused havoc for him when it came to him trying to guard them.
He fouled out. I mean,
yeah, even Santos, like young buck, was causing some problems.
Yeah.
But so Jeff, we're going to talk a little bit about the game once we have a pour. But,
I think it's important to get some whiskey in us first. For
yes,
sure. For those of us that are drinking. I've been enjoying you guys chatting, and I've already been drinking. I think I have the bottles that you have, I hope.
Yeah, we got the 2025 releases of Grizzly Bear and Rocket Top.
Sweet. So I'm having a little Grizzly Beast right now.
Awesome.
Affectionately known as the Grizzly Bear also. The Grizzly.
Yes.
So love it. Yep. So,
I love it. So for those that are watching, tell us a little bit about like your entry into Redwood Empire. Like what is it about like whiskey that made you go, okay, this is what I actually want to dedicate myself to?
Yeah, I don't know if we have the time for that today, but the real short story is that I've always been a passionate maker. I love home brewing and making stuff at home. I was kind of whittling away at our winery in the back as an accountant and really tired of being an accountant. And in 2012, our owner decided he wanted to build a distillery, and I quickly raised my hand and forced my way into the conversation. And when we got up and running in 2015, there was a role for me in the distillery, and I haven't really looked back since then. And I've enjoyed every day of it. And I've personally always enjoyed whiskey. For me, it was always a camping thing. We'd go out in nature and backpack and always bring some fun bottles of stuff and pass them around and share them. So got some good nostalgia around it for that. And just really enjoyed being a part of this Redwood Empire journey over the last decade plus.
Yeah. No, I love it. I've loved watching the progression of it. Like it's cool when you see a new distillery and it's not necessarily in your bourbon trail, like,
right.
And you're like, okay, how long does this one last? Especially dating back and making it through COVID and everything like that. That's big for, a distillery that's not on the bourbon trail. Especially with, the small-minded whiskey mindset that used to be that if it's not from Kentucky, it's not whiskey, like
sure.
that whole thought. So seeing you guys just continually put out bottle after bottle and seeing how quickly it went from, oh man, that release sold out in 2 hours to, oh, that release sold out in 4 minutes, like it's just that big of a difference that I've seen over, the past few years. And I absolutely love it. So what would you say before you were, even working with, like, what is one whiskey that you're like, this is one of my favorite pours, like has always been, will always be? What's a pour that you can constantly like go back to, or even like a brand umbrella that you're like, this is one of my go-tos?
Oh man, there's so many out there, but I mean, American whiskey, I really appreciate Four Roses. I love what they've done from just like a single-minded approach to whiskey. Like, we're just going to do bourbon. We're going to do some minor tweaks here with yeast strains and a little bit of, differences on the mash bills, but really we're just going to be hyper focused and release amazing products. And I've gotten to go out there and taste out there at the distillery and just really appreciate what they do. I also like that there's a little bit more restraint in their their bourbons are a little bit softer and a little bit more
Yeah.
delicate, which is something I think we strive to as well.
Yeah.
And I love all single malt. I'm a, again, being a recovering beer drinker, that, anything that's made from beer, it's got to be fun and good. So I love single malts from all over the planet, Japanese,
Yep.
American, stuff from across the pond in the UK. I got to go to Scotland this summer and drink some pretty good stuff. So I really love all that stuff. But
That's
I love to taste stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a ton of amazing whiskeys out there I haven't tasted yet, and that's my goal is to enjoy those. And so
Yeah.
I'm always looking for something.
I love that. And that's one thing that we've really wanted to do on the show is like people are like, why are you mixing your basketball content and your whiskey content? And I'm like, because for me, it's the best of both worlds. Like there's rarely a time that I'm watching my favorite team that I don't want to try a new glass of whiskey, try something new. And so encouraging people that are watching to be like, yo, there's something else out there. And I want to introduce you to as many brands as possible that can honestly change how you experience watching the Knicks.
Love
And
it.
so I'm thankful for you being here. Have you always been a Golden State fan?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area, so I've been here in California for most of my life, right outside of San Francisco. I had the great fortune to get to see some games back in the days when they weren't very good, but I got to see, Jordan play and some of the other stars play. We would all kind of go to the games, and we knew we sucked, but it was a great opportunity to check out some of the stars at the time. And so, always been a fan. I mean, it was weird when they left Oakland, and
Yeah.
it's a new era. I mean, it's very sad for the community there in Oakland. And I went to school in Berkeley, and I love the East Bay, and so that was kind of a tough road for us, and just sad for the community overall. But they've got a pretty special thing going right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been very spoiled in the Bay Area to have all three of the big sports the way they've been over the last 30 years. So it's pretty good times, and I think we're kind of, I know we're at the end of an era, so it's just kind of like enjoying every day, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like watching what Steph does is on a day in, day out basis it's something special. So we all know we're at the end, and so it's just trying to hold on to that as long as we can, and just enjoying the memories. And we know it's pretty soon it's going to be over.
Yeah. And before we go into the first pour, I want to talk about something you said, the end of an era. One thing that I really, really appreciate about what Golden State is doing, and you're starting to see it now, like at the start of the season, you were like, uh-oh, this could be, chaotic or a downhill
Different lineup
situation.
every night.
Yeah. But we're starting to see something cool is like, yes, it's the end of an era. You realize Curry's getting older. You're realizing Draymond can only be, old man, jerk for so long.
Player
Like,
coach, yeah.
yeah, like he's gonna eventually not be able to do this. But you guys have done a great job in making that trade for Jimmy Butler, who's not at that I'm getting out yet phase, kind of in that middle of I'm established as a player, but I still have some time. So as these guys start to exit out, I can be at that level then. And then you guys are investing in young guys that are soaking up what Steph Curry and Draymond Green are teaching them. Like you look at Moses Moody last night, like he is shooting lights out.
Yeah, Moody
and
has come on strong last month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they gave him that opener role, and they put him in the starting lineup, and he has really embraced it and been super impressive. And the maturity of him is, I mean, you look at his age, he's a baby, and but he's just, his maturity on the court is really fun to watch.
Yeah. So you get guys like that, and you get guys like, Brandon. Brandon has been a surprise, like he can come off the bench and give a crazy spark. He gave you guys like what, 24 last night, 19 last night?
Crazy.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's scary, man. You never know what you're going to get with him. He's just wild. He's a little out of control. You get some heavy turnovers typically, but you get some flash too. I mean, that 3-point he shot from insanely stepping back in the corner, like
step back
right behind, and Steph was right behind him, just like laughing and enjoying it, going like, I taught him that.
Yeah,
but that's the thing you like about that kind of player is like he can be kind of like a little burst, and you're like, oh, what's he doing? You know,
I
but
mean, it's entertainment. We're all here to be entertained, right?
Mhm.
Like we want some entertainment, and like I think he does provide that. I mean, Pat provides that as well.
Yep.
I'm sad to see he's not getting more minutes than he probably should be, but they've got a pretty cohesive lineup right now, and they're
Yeah.
like coach is not trying. He's trying to really not mess with that too much. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, we have an amazing coach, and
Yeah.
Mike Brown, you know, got to tutelage under them, and I saw the love last night, you know, during and then after the game, and Mike Brown's something special as well. And you know, whatever happened in Sacramento, you know, I don't know, but he's definitely something special, and he's
We're gonna
very
talk
well
about that
respected
soon.
by our team. Yeah, but it was fun to see that last night.
Yeah. And so I just like that you guys have a here and now, but you also have a for tomorrow roster that's
Maybe.
continuing to develop.
Maybe. I mean, it's to be seen.
All right. So which of these two pours do you want to dive into first and tell us a little
I
bit?
typically would start with the bourbon. It's
All
a
right.
little softer, a little sweeter, and then that rye is just gonna, you know, it's gonna punch a little harder. So once you go rye, you never go back.
Yeah.
I
So
never
this is
practice that bottle, man. Still,
yo.
first time.
Oh
This
damn! Look at that. You
packaging
guys
is-
getting freshies.
Yeah, man.
we got the tubes. I love the new tubes.
Yeah. The new tubes are new for this year. This is batch 5 of our bottle and bond. So this is a release we do once a year. For me, it's personally very special because it's 100% distillate that we made. It's always a 5-year. Being a bottle and bond, it's a very specific point in time. So it's a 6-month window, rewinding back to 5 years in the past. We always go through, myself and my master blender, Lauren Patz, and we taste through every single barrel for that window and try to come up with the best possible blend. Yeah, this batch 5 is cool. It's got a little bit more highlights out to the batch. It's on the necker, and then those sexy tubes you just showed off. The goal is for those to be different each year, and to just be something fun that's a collectible that you can pull off the shelf. So
I love it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I posted my unboxing of these to announce the show, and I had like so many other whiskey influencers be like, "How did you get a tube?" And I was like, "I don't know." Like,
yeah, tubes are new.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
But most importantly, it's how does it taste?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I've had last year's, which was delicious. But off the nose already, this just smells.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Smells
is.
good.
I mean, I think this is pretty indicative of what we're getting on our Grizzly Beast batch over batch now. I think there's some similarities to batch 4. I mean, a lot of bright red fruits, you know, cherries and plums, and just some really nice, you know, high fruit notes. What we were getting this year on this batch 5, which I think is part of just our evolution as a distillery, is we're getting some more of those candied sherry notes as well. And when you get into the palate, you're going to get some of that as well. So I just think this is the development on this. I think is by far our best bottle and bond bourbon yet. Just for a 5-year, it has a lot to give you. It's got that nice linger. It's 100 proof. That's by definition, you're talking bottle and bond, you have to be 100 proof, which for me is a really nice sipping proof. Not too hot, you know, but enough alcohol in there to really punch through and give you that nice, long, enjoyable experience. And so, yeah, super fun. I love my Lauren, my master blender. She is the woman with the words, and some great words she came up with were boozy plum, warm blackberry, sage, tarragon, cantaloupe. And then as you get into the palate, a little bit of that Earl Grey. So because it does have some decent rye grain in there, you know, honeycomb, pomegranate, and then just expansive on the finish. So she's the writer of the two of us. Just super fun. These are fun because they're different every year. Our back label is always going to tell you the individual batch. And my focus is not doing us justice here right now, but I'll read it too. It's this batch is 67% corn, 17 rye, 10% wheat, and 6% malt barley. So it is a 4-grain bourbon. That 10% wheat does give you some nice textured notes and some nice, you know, softness on the mouthfeel and some nice fruity notes. So, and then that rye, you know, for me is just gives you just a little bit more intrigue. So
yeah. What are your thoughts, Apollo?
This is really smooth, man, and it's like a warming. It's not too spicy. It's, you know, and like you said, it's only 100 proof, so it's not like too strong. But it's a warm, smooth bourbon. I really like this. This is
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it already.
So
Love it,
so
man.
Jeff, it's cool because I tell this to all of our hosts. I mean, all of our guests. Apollo, when he started, didn't really drink bourbon or rye. Like it just didn't. So like since season 1 to now, it's kind of been his journey of learning what he tastes, you know? And so now when he hears these things, you know, when I hear these things, I'm like, yo, this guy's getting it. Because that's exactly what it is. You know, with this one, you know, you have the warmth of the rye. You know, sometimes you get hit with the spice of the rye, you know, but this you get the warmth of the rye. And that's what I love because right now it's actually cold as crap for some reason where I'm at. And the windows are open and I can't get up to get them because I wouldn't be on the show. So I'm in a sweater freezing, but this is like warming me up. So I'm thankful for that.
Glad I can help out.
I do get the clove that she gets. And I do get the like red cherry that you said. But I also get like hints of plum to kind of, you know, wrap that sweetness around. And so the sweetness with the warmth is like a perfect pairing. This is a great pour.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So we launched these usually in the fall. This came out last fall. I was running around and mainly in New York and then the boroughs and then into Jersey, and it should be hitting there probably, you know, as we speak. I would be rolling over to this batch, so it should be available. We did a pretty healthy run of this for batch 5, so should be something that's up. You know, go to your independent bottle shop if they don't have it, ask for it. That's the thing most people don't realize. If you go to your bottle shop and you ask for something, like they want to make you happy. So
Yeah.
you know, most times they'll bring it in for you if they can, and they'll take care of you.
Yeah, I love that. So before we get into the next pour, guys, I am going to post Redwood Empire's Instagram account there for you guys to follow what they're doing. Check them out. Honestly, there's so many good pours. Like I did some photos for their previous like malt releases, which were absolutely delicious. And so anything you can get from Redwood, I truly think you guys would enjoy based off of the bottles that we highlight here. I believe we actually sampled through what was it? I think we did Foggy Burl last season because that was one of my favorites. So if you guys see a Foggy Burl on the shelves or a Screaming Titan or a Van Dusen, like that whole collection was incredible. As well as one of my favorites of theirs constantly is going to be the Pipe Dream Cast Strength. So if you see that on the shelves, pick them up. And like I always say, if I recommend something and you don't like it, just hit me up. I will allow you to send it to me. I'll give you my address. I'll pay you half of it because the other half is your fault for not liking good whiskey. But I will take the other half off of.
I think you hit your mic.
We lost you, Phil.
All right. Sorry.
There you go. Yep.
So before the next pour, Jeff, I want to ask you, as someone who is a fan base of another team that saw the New York Knicks last night, what are your thoughts on that team? Like, what are your thoughts on what you saw from us on the court? And what do you think is missing? Because some Knicks fans will believe, even after seeing last night, like it's championship season for the Knicks. But as a not Knick fan, what do you see as a basketball fan?
Yeah, I mean, fair. I think that was the first Knicks game I saw this year. I mean, you guys are missing your star, right? So that's tough. It's coming across the country, as I know, you know, watching our team going east is tough. I mean, you look gassed. I mean, as you were saying earlier, you came out hot. You owned the first quarter. It looked like, oh shit, here we go again. Warriors are going to get outmanned. I mean, we're the old guys trying to keep up with the young studs, and it was a very physical game. And for whatever reason, the Warriors they hung with it, man. They were running with you guys, and you guys got to the fourth quarter, and I mean, third quarter seems to be Steph's magic time. I've seen that throughout his career, and he did not disappoint last night, and he had a pretty awesome third quarter. I mean, we were hitting shots too. I mean, I think we were over 50% on 3-pointers. So we had a pretty unusual game from the shooting standpoint. I think you guys just looked a little gassed to me. You just got a little tired.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask this question to you and then panel the guys. A lot of times Knicks fans want to find one person to blame. And even if it's their favorite player, they're going to scapegoat it through someone else. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people right now are scapegoating and blaming everything on Mike Brown. Like, to them, Mike Brown is the issue. Mike Brown is a bad coach. Mike Brown is this, that, or whatever. But you've seen Mike Brown by being part of your organization, seeing his contributions there. And so you've also seen that transition takes a little bit of time, like when Mark Jackson left and Steve Kerr took over, like Steve Kerr had a way that he was going to do things. And players either will commit to it or they'll be stubborn. That's their thing. And when we've seen the Knicks actually buy into Mike Brown's system, it's looked good. But when they result back to the ISO focused lack of ball movement, we look horrible and stagnant. So what are your thoughts on Mike Brown as a coach from someone that actually had his team, have Mike Brown on his staff?
I mean, as I was talking about earlier, I mean, there's a lot of love for him among our current players, former players. So I just got to gauge that and trust the players. I think he's an amazing coach. He's well loved, but it takes time. I mean, this whole like coaching carousel thing is crazy. The day after the NFL, they fired the runway on a coach now is just so short, and like the expectations are so big, and like it takes time to gel with players. I mean, you can't be expected to come in July was when he came in, right? And then you start playing in August and then September. I mean, that is no time. It takes really, it takes a good solid year to know what you have, and then hopefully be able to make some tweaks there. So I just think as a culture, we've just gotten way too impatient with these teams. And I get it. I mean, there's a lot of money now and there's that win now mentality, but you got to give them some time. I mean, it's tough. So I would hope that, and I don't know what place you guys in. I mean, you got a better record than we do.
Yeah. So before the start of the year, we were actually doing well. And we were second in the East. We just fell to third. We're half a game away from falling into fourth. But start of the year has been pretty horrible. We've lost the last 7 of 9.
But if the playoffs started tomorrow, you wash all that out and you're number 4, you're in the playoffs and you're playing in the playoffs. So I mean, there's a lot of basketball left. I usually if we can be a couple games over 500 in the West, I'm usually pretty happy at this time of year. It's just so freaking competitive. And then you can maybe put on a burst of talent that last month. I mean, injuries are so critical now in all of our sports. And one of those can just take you down. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like you guys are going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. You know what's crazy though is the West is so good that we only have 2 wins higher than you guys do all season, and you guys are where you are in.
We're in the play-in right now, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you guys are.
It's crazy.
Right now. So it's crazy
brutal.
To see the West. Ev,
so I had a quick question though before. So that doing now, do you think that I don't know who won the cup last year, but I mean it's kind of a bullshit. Oh, lost you guys for a second there. We good?
There you go. Yep, there you go. We're back.
Yeah. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are on the cup and now going through it and winning it. Does that create a distraction for the team? And do you think that maybe had a bit of a hangover effect for the team because you're like, cool, I won this cup thing, whatever, and you get like a couple dollars, right? I mean, the players get a little bit of money and team gets some money, but I don't know. I mean, it just seems kind of weird.
Yeah, Apollo, I'll let you go first, then Ev, and then I'll go.
I mean, I think from a standpoint of mentally, maybe. I think mentally, like people were saying that we might have been gassed and playing the extra whatever and doing the extra travel and everything and all of that stuff. That was the reason why. But I think it could be. I don't even know how to explain it. How the yearning for something and getting it way too early kind of could, damage you in a way. Just in a way. I think at the end of the day, these guys understand what the real goal is.
Right.
But if you look at the last 3 years, the Lakers won it the first year. They didn't win the championship. They didn't really play well after that. Same thing with the Bucks. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to that, but I do think that this team is way better than what they've been playing like, and we haven't seen them play that well since that tournament. So
I mean,
I don't know.
professional players, there's a ritual, right? They want to be in a they like their patterns and their habits. And I just wonder if this like takes them out of their rhythm. You know, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Ev?
I mean, I would say maybe, I think in terms of just the competitiveness that those, especially the tournament games, right? Once they were out of the group stage and they got into the tournament phase of it, Raptors game not super competitive, but that Magic game and then the San Antonio game, very high level, super competitive games. And if maybe there's a little bit of like an emotional kind of blow off in a sense where it's like, whew, wow, what a win, right? I don't want to blame everything on that because it's really one extra game, right? At the end of the day, in the playoffs, when you make it to the playoffs, you're playing every other night. And then since the Cup, the Knicks, besides the last two-day break, they're playing every other night. So I don't want to put too much on the Cup for it being the reason as to why the Knicks are struggling right now. Because again, like even when they were playing well in that December stretch, there was always glaring weaknesses that presented themselves. And now it's like, it's just very ugly right now. They're like all the way out, right? The bar lights came on at 2 a.m. It's like, all right, I see what we're walking out with. And that's currently like what's going on with the Knicks in this stretch right now. So I don't want to put it all on that Cup win because I do think the players and maybe the organization, though it might have seemed like they were a little unappreciative of the Cup win, I do think their goal was to go on. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. So it's a little bit tough to say. I don't want to blame it on the Cup. I mean, these are professional athletes paid millions and millions of dollars to be competitive. Like what got you to the dance is your competitive nature. The NBA, you have to be the 1% of the 1% to get to where you're at. And a lot of that takes being competitive and kind of shying away from competitiveness throughout the course of a season doesn't make sense, especially if you're a team that's singularly focused on winning the NBA championship now. So I wouldn't say that the Cup took too much out of them. Maybe might have thrown them off a little bit, but I just think some of the weaknesses that present themselves, some of the fissures, are starting to turn into cracks on the team.
Yeah. And I want to pivot off of that because I do see that a lot on the Knicks timeline. Like people saying, oh, they were gassed from this Cup that doesn't have any purpose, this, that, and whatever. But to me, that's just a cop-out because if you look after the Cup, we lost our first game, but in those 6 games after the Cup, we won 4 of the 6. So if it would have been a thing that was really killing us was having to put in that much effort for the Cup, that's when we would have saw the downfall, like was in that next 6 game stretch, that next week and a half, 2 weeks. But now we're a month out. Like that's just nonsense for people to think that it has anything to do with that. Matter of fact, it showed me that when there's actually something to play for, these guys can actually do what we're wanting them to do, and we're in a different NBA, I think, like I saw a video the other day and it said, this is when the NBA transitioned. Okay. And it was when LeBron and Kobe were at the All-Star game and Kobe slaps the floor and tells LeBron, let's go, let's do it. Anytime I grew up watching the NBA,
You touched your mic.
Oh, those one-on-one moments when I grew up in the 90s NBA, that was a moment that it didn't matter that game didn't mean anything. Like it meant something because you were showing why you are an all-star. And LeBron took Kobe up on the challenge for like 0.2 seconds and then threw the ball across court to a guy that was just there from the other team ready to get it. And then there was another moment that to win the game, Kobe went to defend him again, and he passes it away and doesn't shoot it. And Carmelo looks at him like, oh my gosh, that is so cringe, bro. Like you passed up the opportunity again. And that's when the NBA kind of shifted from guys that choose when they're going to actually put the effort in and when they're not. Before, it was as long as we're healthy, we're putting in the effort. We're going to show why we get paid to be professional athletes. And so it's frustrating for me to see nights where certain players are putting up 6 points, 8 points, 12 points when they're getting paid $35 to $55 million when I know that they can because I've seen it before. So the cup to me is one of those things where it's like, if you see that you can do it there, you should be doing it all the time. And so that for me was promise, at least, to go, I see the crap storm that we are right now, but I've also seen what we could do when it mattered. So maybe these guys will wake up and act like it matters sometime before the season's done. So I don't think we can blame the cup personally.
Fair. Got it.
All right, Jeff, tell us a little bit about this next one.
All right, so we're on to Rocket Top. This is our second of our 2 bottle and bonds we release every year. This is our big spicy rye guy. I personally am a huge rye fan, so been making rye since we started. They're a little different every year. We typically do a 3-grain rye, so we're doing, of course, a lot of rye. We really like a really nice high rye content, typically 85-90% rye, and then let me just clean out my glass there. And then malt barley, of course, that's kind of traditional. We like to throw a little wheat in. So we've been playing with wheat from early on at the distillery. It was in the Grizzly Beast we just had, and it's in our Rocket Top year over year as well. This batch 5 is 85% rye, 11% malt, and 4% wheat. So pretty healthy dose of malted barley in there. The malt guy, so of course I'm going to sneak that in. And that gives you some nice counterpoint to that rye spice. So again, along with the batch 5 of Grizzly, I think this is our best yet expression of our bottle and bond. So super excited to get it out in bottle, and I hope you enjoy.
All right, let's give this one a little swig. All right. All right. All right.
Rye is much more polarizing as whiskeys go.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good example of rye, but some pretty heavy, pine notes, spice notes, wintergreen. Those are all kind of things you're going to get on a rye.
I smell like the oak. I smell like brown sugar off of it.
Paulo, what are you getting? I love how everybody has. They smell different. We all taste things different, smell things differently. So for me, it's just super fun to get people's different takes on things, and there's no wrong answer.
Apollo, you're muted.
So it's not gonna hit the same now that I say it again, right? So it's a rye, and like I said, rye, like you guys didn't hear me. I said a rye is gonna rye, So I expected that, so it didn't bite me too much, but it gives me like a roasted kind of I guess like an almond kind of taste in a way. That's just what I'm getting from it. It's like I said, it's a little bit spicier, but it's still not. It doesn't hit too hard. It's something it still gives you that same warm kind of hum to it in a way.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, ryes are typically more tannic, so you're going to get some more drying qualities to it. Some almost like a dried persimmon. Some of our tasting notes we had, chanterelle, mushrooms, brisket. I mean, it's got a little bit of smoke, some kind of smoky meat quality going on there. But also those wintergreen notes as well. So and then nice long finish. It just continues to just kind of just tingle in the back of your palate there. So it's
I love
it.
It's funny because you were talking about being overseas and like Scotland and everything like that. I'm a huge Scotch guy. Like I love Scotch. And a lot of the stuff I like is the peated stuff because I like smokiness to my whiskey.
Sure.
And so a lot of people are like, no, nothing with peat. But I'm like the opposite. If it's got peat, I want it. But what I like about this is you kind of get, like you were saying, that brisket, you get the smokiness, like of a peated whiskey without the necessary like peat taste, that comes with it. So I love this pour. And for me, I get like fig Newton, like on it.
Yeah.
So this is delicious.
I told you to stop doing that. You do it all the time, and now I taste a damn fig Newton. This is why. You know what? Never mind.
Everybody likes a fig Newton.
Everyone does. It's funny. I was in the store the other day, and I'm like, shopping for necessities. I'm like, okay, I need heavy whipping cream for my coffee. Just gonna grab that. Gonna grab what the wife needs. I need to get out. And then I went down an aisle and I saw a big old thing of fig Newtons, and I was like, oh, do I stop? Why not? So fig Newtons are always a kryptonite for me.
Let me tell you something about fig Newtons. Let me tell you something about fig Newtons. I love fig Newtons. Always have since I was a kid. It was one of my favorite kind of snacks. Right. I'm 19 years old. No, I think I probably at this point I might have been like 20, 22 years old. And I'm at my friend's house. He has some fig Newtons. I'm like, bro, can I have some? Of course. I have some fig Newtons. And it was one of I think it might have been like strawberries, had a little strawberry seeds in there. So you can actually feel like you're chewing on a strawberry a little bit. So I'm eating the fig Newton, and one of those strawberry seeds went right in my tooth and cracked it and shattered my tooth. I have not eaten a fig Newton since that.
Really? I smell a lawsuit.
I also think it's time
Damn
to
you, fig Newton.
Right. I've never ate a fig Newton since that day. It's
that's rough. Sorry,
and I like them. I like them. So
I think it's time to build a bridge and get over it. Next time I get there, you and I are gonna have some.
What is a fig Newton? Is that a cookie, or what do you classify that as?
I don't know what the hell it is.
No, it's a Newton. It's too sophisticated to be a cookie.
Right? Yeah.
Too sophisticated.
It's like a mini pastry,
The bougie cookie.
It's a package. It's a packaged pastry, is what it is.
Yeah, right.
Pastry.
It's what we like to call a delicatessen. It's one of those. It's delicious. All right.
Biscuits.
So here's a shot of just of Rocket Top, so we can see it there. This Bottle and Bond series is also fun with beautiful artwork with a tree, but there's also John Muir is kind of our muse for our brand. There's he's in the moon on this, and he's in the trees on the Grizzly Bee. So there's our I don't get to take credit for the artwork, but our art team, marketing team, they do an amazing job and all that stuff.
I've never noticed him in the moon. Like that's the guy from the Emerald Giant, right? Cover.
Yeah. And then here in the tree again, my focus is gonna get on us. But he's up there in the tree. Yeah.
In the same spot, basically. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just fun, You drink half a bottle and you start tripping,
I've owned like so many of these releases. I've never seen him in any of those pictures till you just pointed it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right. So Jeff, let us know what you have in the pipeline. Like what should people that are watching look forward to with Redwood Empire over this next year?
Love it. Okay. So you were talking about Haystack Needle a little bit, and we have reinvented that program as of 24, and we started releasing our single barrels that we made from scratch. So think about what we just tasted through, but those at 8 age and at cask strength as a single barrel. And so we did our second release of that last fall. So those are still probably just dropping in market. And we did a larger increase. So there's both bourbon and rye single barrels out there for Haystack. Very proud of those. Were some of the early things we made at 8-year, tasting phenomenal. They're usually in like the high teens to low 120s proof. So look for those on the shelf. And then we just are finishing bottling Pipe Dream Toasted. So an offshoot of our OG Pipe Dream, but in a toasted form. And it's going to be called Pipe Dream Triple Toast. And so it's Pipe Dream, but with some nice finishes on it. So we've added some elements of some French oak, some Hungarian oak, and some Gariana oak, which is Oregon oak. It's this spicy oak from the northwest of our part of the world. If you drink American single malts, Westland, they play around with Gariana a lot. Okay. So it just takes Pipe Dream and gives it some fun nuances of some different oak characteristics. And just finishing bottling that, so that'll be in the market probably in the next month or two.
Okay.
And then we're always tinkering. We're always up for new ideas and whatnot. We have an amazing restaurant and tasting room now open to the public from Thursday through Sunday. Less than an hour from San Francisco in the North Bay, right outside Vallejo. And love to have people come out. So you can come out, drink with us, take a tour, buy some bottles, and bring them home.
I love it. I love it. And it's cool that you talked about Westland and the Garyana, because they're actually going to be on in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, boom. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that segue.
Garyana 10. So I'm looking forward to that. But the Toasted sounds incredible because, like I said, Pipe Dream has been like, one of my favorites, since you guys put it out, the different variations you guys have put out. And I love toasted finishes. So I'm really interested, like when you said it, like how it changes the like flavor profile.
Yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, a guy, maybe Elliot can kick you a bottle, right?
Yeah, I might have to shoot him a text and be like, hey, I got a word from a guy named Jeff that
I think we can make that happen.
The pipeline.
Yeah, awesome.
That's awesome, man. So how can we, as the Knicks Nightcap and the people that are watching, support you and the brand?
I mean, you're doing it just by hanging out with us. I really appreciate it. Just be, as East Coasters, be open. I mean, you're open to bringing a Warriors fan on, even though we kicked your ass last night. I mean, it's rare for us. So like, I'm probably never going to be able to say that again. You guys are on the rise. We are not. So, but yeah, be open, look for us, and also look for other whiskeys that you might not have heard of, and give them a shot. I mean, get outside of your national brands or even your Widow Jane. And I mean, what are you guys drinking on the in New York area? What are your local brands that are?
Yeah, so pretty much out there, the things you're going to find are the Widow Janes, and we'll be having Kings County on in a few weeks.
Kings County, yep. They do some good stuff.
They're doing Never Hudson whiskey, because to me it's absolutely horrible. And so can't do that. But the good ones are the Widow Janes and the Kings County. They're the ones that are really, representing out here.
Yeah, just give all of us little guys a shot, and support us. And I'm very proud of what we do, and I think we'll continue to release fun stuff. I mean, New York has always been an amazing market for us. It was the second market we got into outside of California. Everybody told us not to do it, and it hasn't been easy, but it's a pretty incredible place, and I always love traveling there. And you all are a lot of fun. So,
well, I'll say this to you, like I've said it to the few other hosts, guests that we've had that we've really connected with. The goal is to eventually do, whiskey tasting watch parties, in the city. And we're going to have to figure out a way to do Redwood Empire tasting / Knicks watch party.
Heck yeah.
And highlight all your guys' collection.
Yeah, I love your city, man. So I'm game to always come out there. So I would be down for that.
Well, thank you, Jeff. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll be tagging you guys in, the next few days with different clips from the video. But we appreciate you, and we appreciate you gifting us with these bottles that we can enjoy with our friends and family. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Cheers to all of you guys. Sorry, Evan, you had to sit there in the background and listen to us talk about whiskey, but
it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't say I'm a whiskey person. I'm kind of like, whatever's at the party, I'll drink.
Yeah.
Now I have somewhere where I can start. So it works.
Right. There we go. All right. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah. You too, man. Take care.
All right, we got some friends in the back that we're going to bring up to talk about these next few topics. And the first thing we're going to do, Ev's not been a part of this, we're going to do a dictionary after we bring these guys on. But first, I want to bring up my guy, Mr. NBA Economy himself, part of the KOT family, and also part of his own thing. Like I said, NBA Economy, mastermind when it comes to numbers. If ever I want to throw out a trade on Twitter, I always run it by him first to make sure that the numbers work, because I don't have the patience to do that, and he's really, really good and really quick at it. So I'm gonna bring up my guy, Mr. Fritz. What up, Fritz?
Hey, what's up?
Chilling,
bro.
Join the conversation.
Yes. All right, and then I'm also bringing
my guy.
someone that's been up here before. He graciously dipped out and said, y'all are leaving me in the backstage too freaking long. I'll come back later. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring up my guy Toon. I think he's are you frozen, bro? Are you back there? Give me the thumbs up if you there. I think he's frozen. Let's bring him up, because if he's frozen, there'll be a funny pose, and then I'll wait till he gets back.
I think he's there. I noticed. I think I know who this guy is. I think he might be a co-host on the show that I saw.
No, he dipped out. I think he was frozen for real.
He's gonna pop back in. Usually
he's gonna pop right back in, and then we're gonna bring him up. If anyone else wants to come on to the open panel, I'm gonna post the link real quick. And we'll kind of just rock with whoever wants to come and talk about these next few topics. I'm actually going to post it on Twitter. If you guys want to repost it, allow anybody you know that wants to come talk smack about the Knicks, have their freedom to do so. This is an open platform. No one's going to crucify you. We're just going to have some fun and talk about it. Come on, Toon. You got like 1.5 more minutes before I do the Dictionary without you, my guy.
I just text him. So hopefully.
Okay, so while we wait for him, Fritz, let's talk about this. All right. So sure. Knicks were doing good. 8:30 left in the second quarter, and the Warriors had just gone on a 21-7 run. And from that point on, it was close and then gone. Why is it that the defense continues to be such an issue for us, especially the perimeter? Like, it's not a new thing that the NBA is focused on shooting 3-pointers. Okay. And we allowed these last two teams to have their way. And since the new year started, New York, since New Year's Eve, is 111.3 defensive rating, 17th overall this season, but second worst in the new year. Only team worse than us is the Jazz. And that says a lot. So what do you think is going on, Fritz? Because we know that these guys can. OG got the bag. Mikhail got the bag because of defense. So where the frick is the defense?
I think it's just not fun right now. I think I'm probably going to say a few things that people are going to disagree with, but I don't think they're having fun. I don't think they're having fun. I know how they usually say, hey, defense inspires offense, but sometimes if you're doing good on offense, it inspires your defense. I think it's work. I think it's the offense isn't working, and all around it's work. Like they just not having fun out there. We were a step slow. Like watching Golden State yesterday, even when we were beating them, I'm like, they're playing at a different frequency than we are. Like, their passing was crisp. Mm-hmm. They were down. They weren't hitting the shots, but their passing was crisp. They were throwing up open shots. They just weren't hitting them. I think just when they started to fall, I think that was it. I think everything is work to the Knicks right now. Like, there's nothing fun about it.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is you talk about how crisp and everything it looks like. There's always that acknowledgement of when something actually works and when something is like an imposter form of it. You know, like when you look at a Golden State Warrior team passing the ball and moving the rock, and the passes can be from across court, around the back, through, like everything is like precision. Like the pass is something they know how to do. Like they are good at it. Mm-hmm. Like us, even when we move the ball, 9 times out of 10 it looks wonky, or it's a dribble handoff. Like, and we call that a pass. Like,
we do very simple passes. The only person I really see out there who's trying like odd passes is what's his name? Clarkson, yeah. Clarkson, like you'll see him like try some really like odd passes or crispy passes, but like outside of that, they do just they lob it in. They like it doesn't look like, sometimes it doesn't look like it's a play.
Like they're going through the motions, yeah.
It doesn't look like it's a play. Like Golden State is like, oh, they practice that. or that's intentional. And sometimes as the Knicks, it kind of looks like, hey, we're just kind of looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
And let me throw it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think our passing and cutting, it all needs work.
Yeah.
It's
it's crazy because what I do see is when there's actual movement, like you can see some of the passes look better. Like when players are actually moving without the rock, like you see Kolek splitting the defense, with his passes. But how do you split the defense with passes when no one's moving? When the only thing they want you to do is set a pick and give them the ball,
Yeah.
So it's like you limit the actual facilitating giftings of some of those players when all you want to do is touch pass, here, you touched it, now give it back to me and let me do this, And so I think that we're very one trick pony, over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever, since the new year. And I think it's rough. I think it's just very rough to see that it's been that way. So Ev apologized. He said he had to pop off. I think he had some family stuff that just came up. And I don't know if Tune's coming back. I don't know if he had an issue.
He texted me. He said the kids are wilding, so I don't think.
All right, cool. So I'll put you two to the test. All right, and those of y'all that are in the chat, if you could see this, the 160 plus of you that are rocking with us right now, we're gonna do this right here. All right, before we go into the last topic that I want to talk about tonight, here is today's Knictionary. All right. And I'm going to play a little music for you guys. You got it?
I got it.
All right.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
All right. Give the chat a minute. See what they can get.
Same way you greeted me.
Shout out to my guy, Sky Zoo.
For the same ink that'll write you out the scenery. You lucky I'll be finding my way to find a decency. No.
All right. I'll let you both go at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Dave the Busher.
Dave the Busher.
Yeah. We got Mr. Dave Chappelle up there. We got the seat, letter D. We got President Bush. And then we got some Sure deodorant, Dave DeBuscher. So shout out to Dave. Shout out to the beast that he was. Great player for the New York Knicks. Shout out to him and all he contributed to the orange and blue. If you guys are watching and you caught it, let me know that you got it as well. Last topic we're going to go into, guys, is how big of an issue is it that not only did, and here's the thing, back to the people that never liked Mike Brown, they're going to completely focus on Mike being the only issue here. Do I think it's an issue? Yes. Do I think it's the only issue? No. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. So let me pull up this video clip and we'll close with these. All right. So we see. All right. Share my screen. So we all saw this happen. Okay. Very frustrating.
An impact on Towns hitting the deck.
Here, I think all he tried to do was take a foul to stop the play, but then when he didn't get the call, that's where he grabs his ankle. That's going to be a flagrant foul.
All right. So he grabs the ankle. All right. And is that anything that we're surprised by Draymond? No, not at all. That's Draymond. He does it to everybody. He, is a shady, dirty player. How concerning is it that not a single player stood up for Karl Anthony Towns in that moment? Or is it a concern?
For me, it's hard for me to say because it's Draymond. Like, you kind of expect him to make a foul like that.
Yep.
So, like, half of it is that. At least the guys went to go pick him up. You know what I mean? But I do think a lot of it is a lot of the guys are like, I don't even want to deal with this guy Draymond right now. He might say something just to get under my skin. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't really care if you step up for your guy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen Draymond in the past like that. kind of stuff doesn't work on him. Like he kind of feeds off of it, so you kind of don't want to give him that. So I feel like a lot of it was, for me, that's how I looked at it from those lenses. But I wouldn't say it's concerning, but it's noticeable that there's no guys on this team that are like the, enforcers. You know what I mean? And I guess that's where I land on it. Like I don't think it's a concern more than it's just an observation that there just are no enforcers on this team.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Fritz?
Yeah, I wouldn't get suspended over Draymond Green. Like, I'm not gonna go and try to fight him. It's like we just know what he is, what he do. At the same time, after the game, I'm not gonna dap up Draymond Green. I'm not gonna interact with Draymond Green, but I'm not gonna get suspended. I'm not gonna, because Draymond will take it there. Draymond just crazy. But
so answer me this.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that Draymond has said or done anything negative when it comes to talking about the New York Knicks or New York Knicks players?
All day on his podcast. I was surprised just from how much he's been talking on his podcast about us that it wasn't personal. Like to the Knicks, I thought Draymond the whole night, I thought the Knicks would have took some of the things he said personal.
Okay.
But they didn't.
So that's a great point, because it wasn't like they first saw this tonight and then thought it was an issue. Early in the game, who do you see joking, laughing, playing with, like Draymond joking around? You see Josh Hart and you see OG, both kind of chopping it up with him, joking with him, whatever. And then no one pretty much brought that up as a huge concern. But then after this little altercation at the end, let me bring that back up. All right. You had this little fun little moment. All right. Him and Cat chopping. My whole thing is, all of a sudden, Cat's fighting. First thing I want to say before the rest of the video is, why weren't you having that kind of, fight during the game? Not like fist fighting, but that kind of passion and aggression when it came to actually playing against Draymond. It's easy to bark at the end, but if you would have barked at the end after actually playing aggressive towards Draymond and putting numbers up on Draymond, it makes it a little bit different, in my opinion. But this whole altercation's going on. Mike Brown said what he said, but a lot of people are upset with this right here, the history and the conversation of Mike Brown, him hugging Draymond. If you look at both clips, when he hugs Mike Brown during the game and here, it's Draymond that goes in for a hug. At first, especially during the game, when people are like, oh, I can't believe during a game he's hugging Draymond. He put his hand out like, okay, appeasing Draymond, and Draymond moved his hand and hugged him, So, yes, I understand people like, oh, well, Mike Brown needs to set precedents, this, that, and whatever. But the team didn't set precedents either. Nobody stood on business when it comes to him. And those that are crucifying Mike Brown, I also want to point this video out that a lot of people are trying to ignore. But you can't point out the Mike Brown incident and not show this one as well, which is Karl Anthony Towns' dad dapping up and hugging Draymond Green after the altercation with him and his son. So my whole thing is how big of a situation do we make this? Is it really, oh, Mike Brown hates Karl Anthony Towns, that's why he did that, this, that, and whatever. What are your guys' thoughts? I'll go to you first, Apollo.
He's a troll. I don't think he cares for Karl Anthony Towns' dad at all. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever even spoken to him before, probably. I think it's all part of his, personality. You know what I mean? He's just feeding into the cameras being right in front of everything that he's doing. You know what I mean? There's literally a camera guy right next to Cat's dad. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like It's a little bit of showmanship, just trolling and just having fun with it, being the villain, because that's just what Draymond enjoys, doing. That's what he's brought to that team. If we're being honest, it's not much. I'm not gonna say he's not great at basketball, but more of what Draymond brings is the personality to the team. You know what I mean? Without Draymond, that Warriors team is completely different. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about since 2015.
Yeah.
So he brings that personality to them. So I'm not gonna. And I also think Cat's dad, like whatever. We're also in front of the cameras. Let me dap you up. Let me do the right thing. Because I don't want to make more of an issue. I don't want to make a Tyrese Halliburton and Giannis situation. So I think it's a lot of that showmanship and guys playing into the moment. But regarding the Draymond thing, if Draymond talked about me and I'm Cat and I'm in the game, I'm not gonna wait till after the game and show that aggression.
Yeah,
like I played ball, and it's no matter what level you play at, you wait for that opportunity to go at the guy who's talking trash about you. You know what I mean? Like you kind of revel in it. But yeah, I think just all in all, Draymond's a troll. That's just what he does. Which is probably why guys try to ignore what he does more often than not.
Yeah. All right, Fritz, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Draymond knew what he was doing. He's making a scene. He's built himself a reputation, and he was feeding into it. He knows they're hating on the sidelines, and yeah, he's just feeding there. Draymond is 6'5", 6'6". He playing the mental game because the physical. Like he can't rely just on his physical gifts. Like
yeah.
So like if he can get you off balance, or he got you a little hot, so you acting a little too aggressive, he's gonna use it against you.
Yep. I don't know where he went. There he is. He's back.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what happened either. But yeah, I agree. I think it's all theatrics. And it's well timed. You have Karl Anthony Towns, who has been in trade talks left and right over the last month. And what better way for Draymond Green to continue to get his way even after the game than going up, hugging the coach, making it a bigger dissension between Mike Brown and Karl Anthony Towns. And so I think it's all tactical. I think it's Draymond doing what Draymond does. But at the end of the day, I look at what we have seen in the new year. And to me, I'd be foolish to not say, Houston, we have a problem. There's something off right now. There's something concerning. The first 20 games of the season excuse, that's out the window. We need time to gel, out the window. It's going to take time for them to adapt to a system, out the window. Like, okay, there's a bigger situation at hand, and we need to figure out what the frick is going on. And so I'll close with this, asking you guys, is it still finals, New York Knicks? Or do you guys think something needs to change roster-wise if we want to even sniff the finals? Because, like I said earlier, we are now behind the Boston Celtics, who have played all season without Jason Tatum, and it's been announced that Jason Tatum's hoping to come back by the end of February. So to me, something has to give. Like, I don't know, unless a miracle happens and all these guys decide that they want to compete every night the way they did in the Cup against the Spurs. I don't know if this team can fully do what we all hope that they could do. So what are your thoughts, Apollo? Do you think we need to make a trade? And if so, what do you think that trade needs to be?
It doesn't go unnoticed that you make me drink all of this liquor, and then you're gonna ask me that question. So I'm feeling some kind of way right now. Um, I don't think you can. I don't want to overreact. You know what I mean? Because last year we had the same up and down kind of thing, and it's not that I don't think we can make it far with this roster, because I think we obviously can. You know what I mean? We obviously can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with this roster, right? So, I do think there needs to be a change somewhere. You know what I mean? If we want to be a finals team that strikes fear in anybody, yes. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to strike fear in anybody in the Eastern Conference alone, there may need to be a move made, if I'm being honest. I'm not saying these guys aren't talented. And I'm not saying who I would want us to make part of said move. You know what I'm saying? That's up to Leon and them. But I think they see it as well. There's something off. I don't, like I said, I don't see a way that if we want to be taken serious in the Eastern Conference across the NBA, even if we win the Eastern Conference against OKC or any of those guys in the Western Conference that would meet us there, if we want to be taken serious, I think the cat's out the bag. No pun intended. Maybe I should have used a different phrase, because now it seems like I'm talking about cat. I think the jig is up. Maybe the jig is up. Like, people kind of know who we are in a way, and even if we play up to the standards of the system, will playing aggressive with certain guys take us out of that? Do we know that even if we are playing to the system 100%, if a team like Detroit comes in and they elbow Cat in the chin, is it going to throw everybody off?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is his mood going to throw everything off? Is he going to get himself out of a game like he did last night with offensive fouls? He has the most offensive fouls in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, are these kind of things going to throw us off that rocker? You know what I'm saying? So those are the questions that I have. And I don't know if we have it all on this roster. You know what I mean? I can't. I would love to be proven wrong for sure, absolutely, but I don't have those answers right now. I don't think that this is the team that can get us to the finals.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is it's hard to go look at any team and say it makes total sense that their 1A and their 1B are full on defensive liabilities, with all that money that's going into it, like, it's hard to say that, and I think that's the problem with the Knicks, is like, our big budgets are in those two guys as the future, with some issues. And one thing that I want to point out is, if there are teams that are doing as good as us, if not better, that are looking at ways to improve their roster, it would be foolish for the New York Knicks not to. Like, there's rumors of the Pistons looking to see if they can move Tobias Harris to get an upgrade. And they're the number one in the East right now. And they're looking to still see if they can improve by the trade deadline. So it would be foolish for us to go, man, we're struggling. We're not the top of the East like we thought we were. Let's stay put. There has to be something. And I even saw a trade today that the Bucks are trying to figure out a way to make a package that's appealing for Ja Morant. Like, you don't think that Ja Morant, Miles Turner, and Giannis can salvage the second half of the season and try to make a push, to be a team that at least makes the playoff play-in and makes themselves contenders, in the playoffs, when you have three players of that stature working together. That changes the Bucks immediately. Like, if they were able to get Ja Morant on the team. And especially because John Morant, you put him in most places where he's big dog, he can have that attitude. He can have that elitist mindset. But there's no one that's going to Milwaukee under Giannis and going, I'm the number one. Like, no, you pipe down. And so I think that John Morant would play well alongside Giannis. So for me, the idea of staying put while other teams are looking how to make themselves better in the East doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So what are your thoughts, Fritz?
I thought it was inevitable that the Knicks had to improve. Like, because I thought the ultimate goal was the championship. And even in the beginning of the year, looking at OKC, looking at San Antonio, thought we were too small. Like, too small to really, if we got in the finals with them, I don't think we would have a chance. But I think right now we are where we were last year. We're the upper side of the East. So those 3-4 teams that have a shot. So if you want to separate yourself from the 3-4 teams, you're gonna have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I think our visions of Wingstop never came to fruition.
Manifested, no.
So I think we've given it 2 years, and Wingstop is not Wingstopping. So I think you may have to break that up.
So,
like
off the top of your head, give me a top tier, mid tier, and whatever player that you would be interested in pursuing before the trade deadline. I'll go to you first, Fritz.
Like I said before, like I think Triple J is probably the one who's kind of available right now. I think he's going to be available. We should pursue maybe mid-tier. I'd probably look at another wing just to get a little bit of diversity. So maybe Zaire Williams, someone of, somewhere in there for mid-tier. And low tier, sure, at the point guard spot, Jose Alvarado. Yeah, like
all right.
filling those gaps.
All right, what are your thoughts, Apollo?
I mean, of guys that are available, I mean, we keep talking about the big Greek guy over there in Milwaukee. I mean, that's a, that's like the obvious one for me. You can't really say no to that kind of move. And if Giannis is that top tier, then I have no problem going with Triple J as the middle tier. You know what I mean? He could easily slide right under Giannis in terms of that. And like you said, Jose, he's always that kind of guy. He's the New York guy. I think he would fit in well. You would have to make some kind of move at the guard position because there's like 17 of those that we have now at this point. So it would be interesting to see how we would get Jose over here. And would it be a straight up trade with like a Kolik or Deuce or something like that, which I don't even think would even make sense. But yeah, those three, I would say those three. Fritz would probably know more about the numbers. I'm just I'm just throwing out names at this point because I'm but those are the three guys that came to mind.
Yeah. It's funny because we were talking earlier and in the KOT chat, and this losing streak just has Phil losing his mind, like straight up losing my mind. Shout out to my brother in the chat. What up, big bro? I love you, bro. I straight up was just losing it in the KOT chat. People knew I was off my rocker. Like they were like, "Yo, Phil, you tripping?" I was like, "I don't care. Like, just do something. This sucks. Sick of watching this team the way that it is." But one thing I had said was like, they were like talking about, Fritz was talking about Triple J or Bam in exchange for OG and who was it? OG and McBride?
OG and Deuce.
Yeah. And I said I would be fine with that because if we solved the center issue, then we could get rid of Cat and get something that is like complementary to a style of play that works. Someone that can actually catch the three and shoot, or actually like free flow, move and run a faster pace offense. And then I just started going off the hinges and I was like, trade for Bam or JJ for OG and Mitch, and then get me either get me either Michael Porter Jr. or because for Cat and Dottier, you could get Michael Porter Jr. and Dayton Sharp, or get me Cat for Zion and Jose Alvarado, because those numbers matched and passed the trade in the trade machine. Because I was like, listen, I don't really care, because if we're playing Russian roulette with having Cat on the court, I'll play Russian roulette with Zion and the ladies of New York nightlife. Like I'll play that Russian roulette game, because at least he can run the, fast pace, get down the court, be aggressive, dunk, JB, Kolick, whatever Hart, they can all find him in the open court. We also then get Jose Alvarado, because in the Fritz trade, we got rid of Deuce. So we get, him to be that backup PG. And then you could still trade Yabusele for a bag of Skittles and a signed Crisscross album. I don't really care. But you then add the diversity. Or if you did the Michael Porter Jr. and Dayron Sharp, then you have, a big there, but you also have Michael Porter Jr. who can lights out shoot the three, and has played on a, championship team before and can bring some championship experience to it. So at the end of the day, I'm going off the cliff, doing whatever I have to do to make this team better, taking risks, because I feel like right now keeping the roster exactly how it is a bigger risk than even the trades that I'm proposing. So we'll see. Those of y'all that are watching the replay, gang, tell me if I'm off my rocker. Tell me if I need some meds. I don't really care.
Just a little bit.
A little
bit.
Just a little bit.
But here's the thing. We all wanted Zion from the get-go. We were bummed out when we got RJ. Why not do it now? When we got a better team than we had before.
I'm a good Cat. I'm gonna shoot Cat a little bail, like just a little bit. Like I'm gonna give him the rest of the year, because he said he was injured. He has a quad injury. I'm hoping that's part of the issue that's going on. But
I for some reason I'm getting the energy that it has a lot to do with Mike Brown, and I don't know how quick that's gonna change.
I don't think him and Mike are gelling at all. You saw that from the first interview where he felt like, where he was like, I don't know where I fit into this offense. Well, why don't you shut up and figure out how to fit in? Like, because the few games that you did try to fit in, you looked incredible. Like, you played great basketball, when you actually adapted to the system. So for me, I don't see that relationship getting better anytime soon.
Because he puts Cat through, like, physically through it. Like, he's driving. He has that. Cat is awkward because he has, big feet. He's awkward, but see, he keeps driving all game long. It's a tough. He's getting beat up.
I do question why he's not given more mid-post opportunities. I don't like how much he has to drive off the dribble from the 3-point line to the back.
I'm like he's like
off balance.
I'm surprised he's not injured, because just the amount of times he hits the floor. The amount of times that, like, he's getting smacked through the lane. I don't like it. It doesn't look right. I think it's an injury waiting to happen. I think one thing Mike Brown should do that he isn't doing is calling out the fouls. Like, remember a few years ago, the Knicks sent something to the league. Do that. Like, you gotta put your foot down and say, hey, they are killing Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Send something into the league, and the league has to talk to all the referees. I'm pretty sure after they talk to all the referees,
there'll be some
there'll be some changes, because if they keep pointing out that Cat is getting smacked up on the way all season, he's gonna get to the line more.
I agree, but I think this is the problem, and we'll end on this, is when you looked back on all of those like Jalen Brunson calls, when they go back and they slow-mo it, Jalen Brunson was getting hacked. But there's a good amount of those Cat ones where he's not getting touched or he's tripping and he's fighting with refs about getting a call, and the announcer, and even it's our guys, there's been times where Breen or Walt Frazier, they've been like, he didn't even get touched, like that doesn't help the case,
Yeah, Cat shouldn't be arguing. Cat should not be arguing with referees.
Complaining whether it's a legit foul or it's a baiting foul by Cat. He wants the same respect, that even if it's not really a foul, he's going to fight for the call and he's going to like make a big scene about it. That doesn't help anybody win a case. Mike Brown can come and be like, my guy's getting fouled over and over again. And then they look at the replays at the ones that Cat's trying to get the foul call for, and a third or half of them, he's not getting fouled. Then they go, no, he's really not getting fouled. Why? Because they're going to look at all the ones that he's complaining about, not the ones that like Mike Brown specifically points out, And so I think like Cat is his worst enemy when it comes to that. Like, shut up, play the game, and then there'll be enough evidence to be like, hey, he's not getting these calls. But when he's trying to get every call that's not even really a call, that's an issue. So I think there's a problem there.
I'm with that.
So, but anyway, I appreciate both of you guys. It's 10:15 now. Even though it's a weekend, I'm shooting a wedding tomorrow, and Apollo's had a long week, so I want him to go be able to snuggle up with wifey a little bit. He doesn't have to be up till midnight watching the Knicks lose tonight. So it's a delightful thing. Fritz, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, always here in the chat, the Nick of Time show, also NBA Economy show. So I'm doing a lot more shows. So we've been going live like 4 times a week. So please subscribe.
Awesome. Guard Up Knicks. Let them know where they can find you.
Guard Up Knicks everywhere. Guard Up Knicks everywhere, man. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Guard Up Knicks. Come hit us with a like, follow, subscribe. We're trying to reach 800 over on YouTube. So yeah, man. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to KOT for allowing us to bless you guys with our wonderful faces. While we talk about whiskey and the Knicks. Yeah.
I know. I got to get the whiskey. I got to try some of these. Whiskeys. Man. I like whiskey, and the only whiskey that I've had is like pretty cheap.
What I'm gonna do, Fritz, since you're sending me those bobbleheads, you send me your address in a text, and I'll send you a sample kit.
All right, that sounds
a bunch of top-notch whiskeys.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Last thing I'll ask: just give me a W or an L tomorrow versus the Suns. What do you think, Fritz?
It has to be a W. Has to. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it if it's the L.
All right. What are your thoughts, Apollo?
I don't want to be that guy. A W.
You don't, yeah.
Is that I don't want to be that guy, but so I'm lying kind of thing?
Man, I don't want to be that guy.
You gotta shut the people up. You gotta shut the people up. You gotta,
come on.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
You're better than this. They're better than this, man. They're better.
All right. So I'll be that guy. All right.
Thank you, Phil.
I'll be that guy. I think without Jalen Brunson, if Jalen Brunson's not playing, I think we lose. And the reason I say that is because Jalen Brunson, last time we played them, was our only player able to get 20 or more points. Was the only guy that actually like was able to contribute offensively on them. Even if we taper some of it down, the fact that we truly allowed Dylan Brooks to score 27 on us that night, and Devin Booker to get 31, their offense pretty much came from two guys. They didn't have to look elsewhere. And I think that if we don't have Jalen Brunson in that, or if even one of their other guys get like into the groove, because Grayson Allen usually averages way more than he did against us, but they didn't really need his shooting power because Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks were killing it. And same with Gillespie. He had a slow night, and he usually contributes at least 18 points or 16 points for them. So I think without Jalen Brunson, we walk away with an L. Why? Because Karl Anthony Towns has not been aggressive, and when he hasn't had basketball IQ and has gotten way too many fouls because of the way that he does things. And if he's getting upset with, Draymond Green getting in his head, Dylan Brooks is just a more sinister, version of him. He's just a weird, creepy kind of version of Draymond Green. So
Devin might play. Devin might not play. Might not play.
Okay.
That's still scary.
Okay. That's still, yeah. So if Devin Booker doesn't play, okay, then maybe we, pull it out in the fourth. But I still think it can be a competitive game without Jalen Brunson, unfortunately. The only way we do well is if Cat buys in, and I haven't seen him buy in a long time. So that's my thoughts there.
Show some pride.
Show some pride. Your name's in the tabloids for reasons, do something about it. So that's my final thoughts. Appreciate both of you guys. Like always, shout out to Redwood Empire. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to my guy, Elliot, who actually made that connection with me and Jeff. Shout out to Ev for being on the show earlier. We appreciate you. Toon, I feel like you would have spoken our language. So shout out to you too. Yeah. But to everyone else, thank you guys so much. Like always, God bless. Please, if you drink, do so responsibly. Never get behind a wheel, and always make sure that you're looking out for others. So until next time, we will see you guys next week. And I believe we're back to Thursday next week. And like I talked about earlier, you guys might not have been here, but Apollo might not be on the show. Next Thursday is his birthday. He's going to be living it up, celebrating with the fam in New York. So we'll have somebody else filling in for him if he can't make it. But we appreciate you guys. Tune in tomorrow night where you will see Jay Ellis, Lee Escobedo, Ryan G. Fritz, you on tomorrow?
I'll be in the chat.
All right.
I'll be in the
Fritz
chat.
will be in the chat moderating. We might have Ebony. We might have B. We'll see. But support the crew tomorrow night right after the game. Either come and celebrate or come and bring all your woes to the chat. So we appreciate you guys, and until next time, deuces.
This is the moment we waited for. Everything you want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.